Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's new video where we are going to edit the animation that we have generated in the previous video. If you haven't watched the previous videos and days, go watch them first. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. We are using CAPCUT to edit our video. You can use any video editor of your choice. CAPCUT is just simple to use as for beginners especially. So download all the animated generations that you have made in Hicksfield, the ones that we did in the previous video. Download all of them and import them to CapCut or any video editor of your choice. And this is now where we are going to look around and see what we can cut, what we can stitch together to make an animation that flows smoothly and seamlessly. Okay, and here I've already done the editing, so I'm gonna take you through my thought process and why I did what I did. So let's look at the first one where, remember, where we made this scene. It starts on Jakarta, then the home, then the guy washing his face, and okay, so this is the first problem, right? The way he puts on his clothes is just it's a morphing emotion, and things like this, the viewers will not appreciate it when they see this because it just shouts AI, right? But we want our animation to be as natural as possible, to follow the physics and whatnot. So that's why as he's walking, I cut it to where he kind of puts on his jacket. So let's watch that. So that transition, the viewer will understand what happened, right? You don't need to regenerate an animation. I mean, if you do want to regenerate, if you want to add that physics, you can, but I decided not to because it's something we can work around with. So you could see that the cut I made, it jumped to him like finishing putting on his clothes. So the viewer in his brain will already make that transition that, okay, that's what happened. He just put on his clothes. And then moving on to the next scene, which is where he's going to call his family.
Wake up, everyone! Time for school!
So to be honest with you, these white lines, I didn't really like them, but because it's a cartoon, we can be a little flexible, so I didn't regenerate it. I just kept it.
I am ready.
Okay then, let's go.
So far everything is good, and now here's the problem. They turn around and the wall behind them just opens out of nowhere. Then there's the school ring bell or a bell ringing. So this part doesn't make sense, which means we will need to cut it right here. So as they are walking out, we will cut it right there. And then this is the other generation where again, they're moving backwards and then coming out of the house. So what we will do is we are going to cut here and then cut here. So it looks like as they were coming out, then they're coming out of the home. So let's see the result here.
Okay then, let's go.
Yes, so as you can see, now the viewer knows, okay, they were coming out and now they're coming out of the house. Moving on to sitting on the motorcycle. So the daughter says, the father is starting the motorcycle. And there, that little transition didn't make sense because the mother didn't sit and he's kind of moving towards the wall. Now, our eyes are very good at catching these things, right? We are trained since we were baby to see, we are always looking at things. So a viewer will catch that. Even if it's like one frame, a viewer will catch that. So you need to make sure that there's something unnatural or weird is going on. You need to make sure it's not happening. So that's where, as he started the motorcycle, I cut it right here. So now the viewer can connect those two and be like, okay, he just started his motorcycle, probably the mother sat down, and now they're riding away. Let's look at that transition. So as you can see, as he started the motorcycle and they ride away, that's when the viewer, they can connect those transition as well. And they're moving through the city. Let's go on here. So they're moving through the city. There's the established shot, and then the other generation is where I didn't like it because, again, if you remember in the last video, I said it's as if he just arrived, but he's saying goodbye, so it doesn't make sense. But this part we will use it after he leaves them. So we are going to use this part, and I'll show you how. And also this generation is what we are going to use after he's taking his daughter and his wife to school and tells them goodbye. This is the part where we are going to use, not this part, because this part, again, you can see that little chair and the position of the daughter. It wasn't like that when we started. When you start something, you have to make sure that at the end it's consistent. You cannot do something which at the start the way they started and then towards the end they end up in a very different positions or different face, different voice. That's where you will lose consistency and the viewer will catch that right away. So let's see the final result from the transition happening here. By the way, the reason why we have this street shot right from here, because if I jump from here straight to the school, it will not make sense, because there's the motion and then at the school he's already at the stop, so that jump will not make sense. Now adding this shot will give an idea to the viewer they are riding through the big city. It also gives time to the viewer to absorb and to breathe before this scene, because if you always have this movement and suddenly I stop, a movement, I stop, the viewer will get tired watching that. So you gotta give the viewer a bit of time to breathe. So let's see that.
Goodbye, Dad. I miss you.
I miss you too. Take care.
So there you go. He says goodbye.
Be careful, stay safe.
And then that's where we took it from the other generation and we cut it. So now the viewer knows he's alone. He already said goodbye to his daughter and his wife, and now he's riding in the city alone. And as you can see, the smile slowly disappears. And then we jump to this scene. Where he cries. Now let me show you. This scene, by the way, was very good. However, because I used the prompt to make this transition, appreciate your father, call him now. But then after editing, I found out like, okay, maybe the viewer wouldn't really understand what exactly happened. Why is the father crying? Why should we appreciate our father? Now in my head as the creator of the video, I know the feeling that I'm going for, so it's easy for me to imagine. But then you have to take a step back and you think about your viewers. Do they know what happened? Why it happened? What's your message? So this is where I added an extra text where I said, a dad is someone who hides his pain to make you smile. Appreciate your dad, call him now. So this final message finally concludes the animation where, oh, okay, so the father is smiling, he's happy for his family, but once he's alone, all that pain that he carries, the burdens, he finally lets it out in secret. And so yes, this was the purpose of the film, and this is the end of the tutorial for editing. In the next video, I'm going to upload the full animation by itself so you can watch it from start to finish. And if you did follow the tutorial, maybe you created something of your own, I would love to see it. Please do share it with me, DM me. If you have any questions, please let me know. It's your brother Nasruddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.